Most people begin their journey with the wrong question: how can I make more money? It's an understandable instinct, but it's a trap. When you lead with the desire for wealth, you become fixated on the scoreboard rather than the actual game. You measure every action by the immediate return, which limits your vision to the next paycheck, the next sale, the next transaction. That mindset creates a ceiling so low that you spend your life bumping your head against it. The moment that ceiling lifted for me, when everything began to change, was the moment I truly understood that wealth is not the target. It's the shadow cast by something far more important: value creation. Value is the fundamental currency of the universe. Every lasting fortune, every enduring success, is simply the byproduct of creating something that improves the life of another human being. The market is nothing more than billions of individual decisions where people exchange resources for something they perceive as more valuable. When you internalize this, you stop chasing the money and start chasing the improvement of lives at scale. Think about if money is simply the applause you get for delivering value. Bezos didn't become wealthy because he wanted to be the richest man alive. He became wealthy because he relentlessly obsessed over making life easier for millions of people. He identified friction, removed it, and then removed it again. That's the psychology shift. The awareness that you don't need to convince the world to give you something. You need to give the world something it wants so badly it would be irrational not to reward you. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think value creation is only about inventing something grand or revolutionary. But value can be created in 1,000 quiet ways. By making a process faster, an experience smoother, a product more reliable, or even an interaction more human. Sometimes the smallest improvement can ripple outward into massive impact. Amazon's early promise of fast, reliable delivery wasn't glamorous. But it solved a problem that mattered to millions, and that problem solving built a foundation that money naturally followed. From a philosophical perspective, this reframing shifts you from a scarcity mindset, where you're trying to take a slice of a fixed pie, to an abundance mindset, where your role is to bake more pies. The question stops being how do I get what I want, and becomes how do I give so much that I can't help but receive. It's counterintuitive, but in the same way you can't breathe in without breathing out, you can't truly receive without first giving something of worth. When you anchor your life's work in value creation, wealth ceases to be this elusive thing you're chasing. Instead, it becomes an unavoidable side effect of doing meaningful work well. And the more people you impact, the more profound that effect becomes. Stop chasing the shadow, build the fire. The light and warmth will follow. One of the most liberating realizations in business, and in life, is that the game is played on two very different timelines. There's the impatient, frantic clock that measures hours, days, and quarterly results. And then there's the quiet, powerful clock that measures in decades. Most people live chained to the first one. They're stuck in short-term thinking, making decisions to feel safe today at the cost of positioning themselves to win tomorrow. Bezos built his empire because he learned to master both. He thought in decades, but he acted in days. Long-term thinking gives you the freedom to make decisions others wouldn't dare touch. If you're looking 10 or 20 years ahead, you don't need every move to pay off instantly. You can plant seeds that take years to grow without feeling anxious about the slow pace, because you know the compounding effect will be worth it. The irony is that most of your competition will disqualify themselves from that race. They simply won't wait long enough to see what patience produces. But here's the other side of the equation. Thinking long-term is useless if you move slowly in the short term. Vision without execution is just daydreaming. The reason Bezos' long-term bets worked is because he paired them with relentless daily action. Every day was a brick laid in the cathedral he envisioned decades ahead. This is where discipline comes in, not the kind that's fueled by bursts of motivation, but the kind that makes you act with urgency even when the reward feels far away. Psychologically, this requires detaching your sense of progress from immediate gratification. It means redefining success as making the right move today, not seeing the result today. When you're willing to do the work without the instant payoff, you become dangerous. Because you're playing a game others can't stick with. Most people won't even start unless they can see the finish line. You start because you trust the process enough to walk into the fog, knowing it will eventually clear. Philosophically, long-term thinking is a declaration of belief. Belief in your vision, your capacity to grow, and the endurance of your values. Acting in days keeps you grounded in reality, while thinking in decades pulls you towards something bigger than the chaos of the present moment. When those two timelines align, you create a rare combination: patience that doesn't drift into passivity, and urgency that doesn't collapse into panic. The truth is, you don't build greatness by choosing between now and later. You build it by winning the day, every day for years, while holding a vision so big that a single lifetime feels like the right amount of time to pursue it. See the decades ahead. Move like you only have today. The world belongs to those who can do both. Most people spend their lives building products, services, or single wins, and then wonder why their success fades as quickly as it arrives. A product can make you money once. A system can make you money forever. That was one of Bezos' greatest realizations. If you want to scale wealth, you must stop thinking like a craftsman who makes one perfect piece and start thinking like an architect who designs a machine that can make 1,000 perfect pieces without you lifting a finger. A system is simply a repeatable process that produces value without requiring your constant presence or intervention. It's a structure that continues to function even when you're asleep, on vacation, or working on something else entirely. In business, systems can be technological, like Amazon's automated logistics network, or organizational, like a culture that naturally encourages innovation without being micromanaged. The reason systems are so powerful is because they detach your income from your direct labor. As long as your results depend on you being physically there, you've built a cage, even if it's made of gold. Bezos didn't want a business that needed him in every decision. He wanted a machine that could grow faster the less he interfered. That's why Amazon became more efficient, more innovative, and more profitable over time, not in spite of his absence from day-to-day operations, but because of it. Psychologically, building systems requires you to think differently about control. In the early stages, it feels safer to do everything yourself. You know the work will meet your standards, and you can catch mistakes before they cost you. But over time, that mindset suffocates growth. Systems require trust. Trust in people, trust in processes, and trust in your ability to design something that works without your constant hand on the wheel. Philosophically, this is the difference between being a worker and being a builder. A worker creates output. A builder creates a structure that creates output. One is finite, the other is infinite. The more you refine and strengthen your systems, the more they produce without draining your time or energy. This is the essence of leverage, not just working harder, but multiplying the impact of every action through design. And here's the part most people overlook: systems don't just save time, they create freedom. Freedom to think strategically instead of reactively. Freedom to explore new opportunities instead of clinging to the old ones out of fear. Freedom to scale without burning out. In a world where most people are trapped by the work they've created for themselves, freedom is the ultimate competitive advantage. A product can make you rich. A system can keep you rich. Don't just build something that works, build something that works without you. That's when you stop running your business, and your business starts running for you. In the race to succeed, it's tempting to fixate on your competition. Who's doing what, how fast they're moving, and what advantages they seem to hold can consume your attention. But what Jeff Bezos taught us is that this mindset, while natural, is profoundly limiting. The true secret lies not in obsessing over competitors, but in obsessing over the customer, the real source of lasting power and innovation. When you center your strategy on beating the competition, you're locked into a game of imitation and reaction. You end up chasing moves, copying ideas, and playing defense. This is a treadmill that runs fast but goes nowhere meaningful. But when your focus is on the customer, understanding their deepest needs, desires, frustrations, and hopes, you shift from a reactive posture to a creative one. You become the force that reshapes the market rather than just responding to it. Bezos famously said, "We're not competitor obsessed, we're customer obsessed." This wasn't just a tagline, it was a fundamental worldview that shaped Amazon's every move. He recognized that customers are never static, their expectations evolve, their pain points shift, and their opportunities for delight multiply. Meeting those changing needs demands empathy, curiosity, and a commitment to continuous improvement. Psychologically, this approach requires humility. It means acknowledging that you don't have all the answers and that your business exists to serve others, not the other way around. It invites you to become a student of human behavior, to listen deeply rather than talk loudly, and to create solutions that anticipate needs before they're even fully formed. Philosophically, customer obsession is a practice of radical generosity. It's about putting the other person's experience at the center of your purpose. When you do that, you're not just selling a product or a service, you're building trust, loyalty, and emotional connection. These intangible assets become your moat, the lasting advantage that competitors can't easily replicate. Amazon's rise from an online bookstore to a global ecosystem was fueled by this relentless focus on customer value. From free shipping to personalized recommendations, from seamless returns to lightning, fast delivery, every innovation was a direct response to making life easier and better for the user. This focus transformed Amazon from a company people shopped at into a company people relied on. In contrast, businesses that chase competitors often fall into traps of price wars, superficial innovation, and burnout. They try to outdo each other on features instead of serving the people who matter most. The result is a diluted experience that benefits no one. If you want to create something truly lasting, don't measure yourself against your rivals. Measure yourself against the lives you touch, the problems you solve, and the joy you create. When you shift your gaze from competition to contribution, you unlock a kind of innovation that can't be forced or faked. It emerges naturally from a genuine desire to serve. Forget the competition. Serve your customer better than anyone else ever has. That is where true power lies. One of the most profound realizations that Jeff Bezos had on his journey to building Amazon was understanding the power of asymmetry in decisions, risks, and investments. Life and business are not fair or linear. They are fundamentally uneven. Some moves carry small risks but have the potential for enormous rewards, while others seem safer but only lead to modest gains. Mastering this asymmetry, that ability to recognize and seize disproportionately valuable opportunities, is what separates the truly wealthy from everyone else. Most people see risk as something to avoid or minimize at all costs. That's a natural survival instinct. But Bezos taught us that risk must be understood in context, not eliminated. The goal isn't to avoid risk, it's to find bets where the downside is limited, but the upside is massive. This means making decisions where you can't lose much, but have the potential to win hugely. What investors call symmetric bets. This mindset changes everything. Psychologically, it demands a kind of boldness rooted in rational calculation, not blind optimism. You become willing to fail forward because you know your failures won't break you, but your successes can transform you. The idea is not reckless gambling, it's calculated risk-taking designed to exploit the non-linear nature of progress. Philosophically, embracing asymmetry is an acknowledgement of uncertainty and complexity in the world. You accept that you can't predict every outcome, but you can design your moves so that the worst case is survivable and the best case is life-changing. This approach aligns with the principle of anti-fragility, systems and individuals that grow stronger through volatility and stress rather than crumble. Bezos' decision to pour billions into cloud computing, which seemed risky and unrelated to Amazon's original business, is a perfect example. Many saw it as a distraction or unnecessary expense. But Bezos recognized the asymmetric payoff. The infrastructure he built for Amazon could become a platform for the entire tech industry, creating a new revenue stream far beyond retail. That bet paid off massively and transformed Amazon into a tech giant with multiple dominant businesses. This concept applies not just in business but in life. Whether it's investing time, money, or energy, the highest returns come from recognizing and committing to moves where your exposure is small but your potential gain is enormous. It's why Bezos encourages experimentation and small bets. It's a way to uncover these asymmetries without risking everything at once. When you learn to spot and seize asymmetry, you stop playing a zero-sum game where every win for someone else feels like a loss for you. Instead, you enter a world of possibilities where the right moves multiply your impact exponentially. Don't fear risk. Fear missing the asymmetric opportunities that can change your life. Look for bets where you can lose little but gain everything. In the uneven terrain of life and business, that is how fortunes are made. Innovation isn't a one-time event or a shiny milestone. It's a continuous, relentless process that Jeff Bezos understood better than most. He built Amazon not by sticking to what worked, but by creating a culture where experimentation was not just allowed, but celebrated. Failure was never the enemy. It was the tuition paid for progress. This mindset, this embrace of constant trial and error, became the real competitive moat that set Amazon apart. Most people are uncomfortable with failure. They see it as a sign of weakness or incompetence, something to be avoided at all costs. But Bezos flipped that narrative. He saw failure as a necessary step in the pursuit of breakthroughs. Every new idea, every innovation comes with uncertainty. If you're not experimenting, you're not learning, and if you're not learning, you're falling behind. Psychologically, this requires a resilience and openness that many don't cultivate. It means giving yourself permission to be wrong, to try things that might flop, and to view setbacks as data rather than defeat. It also demands a growth mindset, the belief that ability and success are not fixed traits, but can be developed through effort and iteration. Bezos' leadership embodied this. He pushed his teams to try bold new approaches, knowing that some would fail spectacularly, but a few would change the world. Philosophically, relentless experimentation honors the inherent uncertainty and complexity of the future. The world doesn't reward perfection, it rewards adaptability. In a rapidly changing environment, the organizations and individuals that survive are those who continuously evolve, test assumptions, and refine their approach. Bezos internalized this, and he made innovation a daily habit, not just a project. This culture of experimentation is what allowed Amazon to leap into new arenas, from cloud computing to entertainment to logistics, with the confidence that each move was a step on a long path of discovery. It's why the company never rested on past successes but pushed forward, always seeking the next opportunity to improve or disrupt. But innovation isn't just about technology or products, it's about mindset. It's about embracing uncertainty as a catalyst, not a threat. It's about understanding that every failure contains the seeds of future success if you're willing to learn and adapt. This approach turns the fear of failure into fuel for growth. If you want to build something that lasts, cultivate a culture of relentless experimentation within yourself and your work. Make failure your teacher, not your enemy. The real secret isn't avoiding mistakes, it's learning faster and better than everyone else. The future belongs to those who experiment boldly, fail often, and keep moving forward. If you want to get rich, truly rich, understand this innovation is a journey without an end, and your willingness to embrace it will define your legacy.